He strikes out Shohei Ohtani in 3 pitches, and then he comes back and then hits a home run on him today. And you got Rudy Poo people on Twitter. Oh, my God. Oh, by the way, just throwing this out there. He struck out Mookie Betts twice. He just struck out Freddie Freeman. Yes, dear Lord, we are watching Paul Skenes right now, as we always do. My man Paul Skenes has signed your boy's helmet back here, this LSU helmet, along with LSU great Dylan Cruz. I wonder how much money that will be one day. You will never know because I'm not going to give it to you. That right there will go to my son or daughter. But my son, Ben, I'm sure will have that one piece of collectible that I have from Paul Skenes. But did strike out Shohei Ohtani in 3 pitches. Shohei got him back the last 2 times. A play that probably should have been a double play. Ball was just hit to second base on Ohtani. But he's, 86 pitches in is Paul Skenes. He just threw 89, excuse me. He just threw a fastball at 101.4 miles an hour. But yes, indeed, we will always watch Paul. Also, my Yankees are winning. So a lot of people think that baseball season is over now that the Tigers have lost. Not for me. I will continue to watch Paul Skenes for the rest of the year. I'll continue to watch my Yankees as well. But it's not the only baseball that we'll talk about tonight because there are some guys that have hit the transfer portal for LSU baseball. I told you last night that there are going to be some guys that would enter the portal that you probably didn't expect would hit. Today, Aiden Moffett is one of those young men. So we'll talk about that. Some of the things that Jay will be doing here in the next couple of days. And look, I don't think that that's over, but I do think that you'll obviously be adding more. And people always panic. You know, I had a lot of comments today. Blake, there's so many people entering the portal. Guys, 3 people, have entered the portal. 2 of them weren't on your roster when regional play happened. And Aiden Moffett, I think that there was just a conversation that was had. I don't think that Jay necessarily wanted him to leave, but nevertheless, he felt that it was in his best interest. So there it is. There it is for all of you. Tyler Townsend's in Blanchard, Louisiana. He's always in here. Michael Morse from Spring Hill. So the 318-31 great is always in the house. Good to have y'all here. Tonight, it's not the only thing we'll talk about. A little look forward into the football season because, guys, that's the next thing that LSU athletics-wise that we will be going out after in a couple of, in about 2 months from now. In about 2 months from now, we will be out at football practice. So 60 days seems like a long time. It is not. So the dog days or summer are here. If you are an LSU fan, nevertheless, we will have it here for you to break it down. We'll go around your SEC or Rufino's rants. Something that I do think that we will talk about here tonight as well because I'm going to talk about the portal, but something that you and I need to talk about is the favorable schedule that LSU has compared to the rest of the league. Now, we talked about this, or at least I talked about this with my co-host on Rufino and Joe show, Joe DeLeon. We had been talking about every tough schedule in college football because that's all we talk about in just a national college football show. Okay, as Paul Skenes gets out of the jam, bases loaded, he gets out of it, and he's pissed off at himself, even though he's had a fantastic performance. That's how you know he's good. I would assume that his day is done nearing that 100-pitch mark. But tonight we're going to go the toughest schedules in college football next year per ESPN's FPI. Now, the one thing that I do think that the FPI does get right, this is very, very, and quite honestly, pretty freaking good what they have. We'll go down the order when we're talking about football and going around your SEC, why it benefits LSU. There are some things that you got to do. Defensive tackle, you got to progress some guys there. And guys, another position group that we don't talk about enough, and we've talked about some, is DB. You're probably going to start a freshman corner. There are some things that are question marks for you. However, of the SEC, you have more of a favorable scheduling system. So we'll talk about that as well tonight. Todd Davis says news on the Louisville shortstop. I have not heard much. I would assume that Jay will be in touch. That's what I would assume. Let's see what Braswell does. If Braswell does come back, I do think that there's a very strong possibility that he is not moving. Or if he does, they will figure something out in the infield, but Jay Johnson will keep Michael Braswell on this roster. So everybody begging and moaning, oh, my coochie. I mean, you're just not going – it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Dane says he's in the 337. Good to have you in here. Adam says, what's good, bro? Good. Just hanging in there, man. Tyler says Jay is on a hunting trip. Yes, he is on a hunting trip. Something that people will call big game portal hunting. That is for sure. Todd says, go Yankees. I love the Yankees. I do too. Apparently, we might be getting an NHL team. Why that man continues to spoil things, I don't know, but it is what it is. Cole Adams is hello from Texas. Tiger in the 210. I'm assuming SAT is San Antonio, maybe? San Antone? Oh, San Antone. Did I sound like what's his name? George Strait? Probably not. Probably not. Rick says the Portal King is at work. Just know that, folks. He is. He is. Todd says, what about the Mount St. Mary picture? All right. Listen, guys, you got to calm down. you got to calm down. There are exit meetings that are happening. I would assume Jay's going to be on the road tomorrow. Again tomorrow. Calm ourselves. Just calm yourselves. It's too early. It's too early. Just relax. I'm not telling it to you, Todd, specifically. You know, there's I saw Tyler just mention this, the ECU pitcher, the lefty that's in the portal. He is. Just relax. They'll be going through some things. I will tell you, I feel very confident where LSU will sit. That is what I will give you for right now. We'll talk a little bit, though, about Aiden Moffett. Look, look, you know how I roll. I'm not going to give you a lot of names. You hate me for it. It is what it is. But last night we discussed, and it was just specific on that there were going to be guys that hit the portal. I think that he is a big name that a lot of people didn't think that would. But, man, he's got to find the strike zone. Got to find the strike zone. So let's see if he can. Big Mamu, Kevin Fontenot, what's up, buddy? Says go Blake. Yes, indeed. My man, I'm still waiting for I'm still waiting for Big Mamu to cook for me. I'm just telling you. I heard the man who's the Cajun version of a mixture of Chef Boyardee. Chef Boyardee, do not ridicule Chef Boyardee. And your boy Gordon Ramsay. He's the Bayou version, man. Mamu, what's happening, brother? Rick says the silver lining of missing the College World Series is that Jay Johnson gets a head start. No doubt. No doubt. Without question. And I don't think that there are people done from the portal that are going to be leaving LSU too. Dane says, Blake, you're right not give out names. Well, here's the thing about portal, okay? The issue that I have with the portal, okay, is that when guys are not in there, you're not supposed to technically announce it until they're in. People don't like when you do it. So I'm just going to stay away from it. Rob Boudreaux says, hello, sir. Good evening. How are you, good man? Good to see you back in here. Hadn't seen our guy, Rob Boudreaux, in a while. What's been up, Rob? Aaron Miller says, neighbors, New York Giants jersey came in today. How about that? Aaron, I got to admit something, man. I'm not a jersey dude. I'm not. Maybe because, I'm a bigger fella. I'm just not a jersey dude. The only jersey that I've ever worn has been Alvin Kamara because I was given it. Somebody bought it for me for Christmas. I forget who. I don't remember. Me and my son Ben had one, and I stole one of my parents' jerseys, believe it or not, to go to a Saints game. I think it was a Colston jersey. I'm not a jersey wearer. I don't know why. I think that I'm fearful, Aaron, like that neighbors, like, will neighbors always be there? Probably should have just gotten a Breeze one, because Breeze isn't going anywhere, right? Like, I mean, you get a Breeze jersey, it's over with. But nevertheless. Todd says, I love Braswell. The Louisville shortstop would play third. I think he would play third. Now, let's see if Braswell and Jones comes back. Like I've told you before, and I don't – look, I think Jared Jones is going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see who gives him, a lot of money. Guys, power in today's major league – like, look, man, I'm just going to tell you, power – and what Jared Jones did at the plate with taking and getting as many walks as he did, he shot up draft boards, dude. Shot up draft boards. And, when you have Tommy Tanks leaving, you're going to have to go get some guys that can really swing it. That can really, really swing it. You got some JUCO guys that can really swing it that you're bringing in. Priester's back. Priester, I think, hit 25, 26 home runs. And JUCO, there was another lefty kid that Jay signed, I think hit 32 home runs this year in JUCO. He's got some guys that can swing it, but you got to, it's a big leap from JUCO to the SEC. And a lot of guys find that out. And so I'm assuming there will be more guys that enter the portal, right? But you got to go get some hitters. Does Burris hit? Does Petrie hit? There's a lot of chatter that South Carolina has dwindled down their next head coach, and they're thinking it's going to be Monty Lee, the head coach at at Clemson, excuse me, which would be so weird. You're coaching in a super regional, man. Like, I don't, I don't know that. But in reference to Jones, guys, you take him based off of his power alone. If you watch the MLB religiously, I know a lot of you do. Guys, what do a lot of guys have that get to the show? They drool over power. Drool over it. I mean, if you were watching the Pirates game right now, like Rowdy Tellez is a first baseman for the Pirates. The dude looks like me out there, okay, but what does he do well? You leave one in the zone, he is going to hit one 475 feet. Defensively, horrible, can't run, but he can hit one 475 feet. So that's why they'll bring him in. Father Abear says, when Jones was chasing the curve outside the zone earlier in the year, I thought he definitely had to come back. But the second half of the year, he set off the curveball away. Then my opinion changed 100%. And look, I mean, guys, the epitome of how good – and look, this is what we talk about with Jay, okay? And we'll get into a little bit of baseball after the break here. But the thing is, okay, he's hitting off-speed pitches for home runs the opposite way. He did that on Monday night. I really don't like Jamie says he needs another year. I got to be honest. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think if he comes back, it's to get in that first round and make some more money. But, guys, baseball is completely different. A guy that's in the first round or a guy that's in the second – well, let me not use first round, but a guy in the second round and the guy in the third round might make more money than the guy in the second round. It's a completely different thing. Completely different thing. So – yeah. Oh, Lord. I hope that this is the real Bullfrog. Bullfrog, is this the one that are you the one that hated Jayden Daniels? Because if so, I'm changing my plans on what we're talking about in the beginning of the show. Is this the real Bullfrog? Or am I getting or is somebody, hosing me again? Because you and I got to have a conversation, buddy. I promise you that. Is this the real Bullfrog? Will the real Bullfrog please stand up? Because, buddy, if you want to talk about the worst sports takes of all time, this ass clown had them. All right. Bullfrog. He says, yes, this is him. Wing nut. So let me just say this before we get rolling. How in the hell are you going to call me a wing nut when you were slob knobbing over Nussmeier, calling Jayden Daniels everything from under the sun? I told you got to let him progress. There's a lot of things that needed to happen. You didn't want to be patient. Nussmeier threw 2 interceptions against Southern. He threw a pick 6. I told you he wasn't ready. You disagreed. I came back out in fall camp last year and told you that I placed a bet on him to win the Heisman. I thought he had progressed that much. You called me a wingbat. Then all of a sudden, you want to come back out here, and now all of a sudden, when Nussmeier is going to be the starting quarterback, you want to be out here. You didn't talk about Daniels when he won. You didn't talk about Daniels when he bailed you out of games. You didn't do any of that. But now that Nussmeier is the starting quarterback, here you come. Here you come. I've never seen someone have shittier takes and borderline racist takes in my life. Now, I'm going to tell you, because you just said this is not Bullfrog. If you come in here, I took harassment from this guy every day. Massive amounts of harassment. I mean, let me just say this. This guy, Bullfrog, okay, might be the stupidest sumbitch that I've ever seen associated with LSU athletics. A fan, anything, all of them. I'm pretty sure that this guy was eating crayons with Les Miles and running toss dive. We got to have a pocket passer. Have you seen the arm strength on him? Jayden Daniels can't throw the ball. God, do you guys look like dumbasses? Y'all all look like dumbasses. Listen, I am eventually going to be wrong about quarterbacks. But since we've started this show, name a time that we have been. I will borderline give myself a strike. I'm being harsh on myself on this one. I will give myself Max Johnson, even though he threw 25 touchdowns and had 30 total touchdowns at LSU in one season. I'm going to take that one because you didn't want me to. Okay? Or you would probably want me to. That's fine. But you Rudy Poos, man. You Rudy Poos. Y'all are the scum of the earth, man. Y'all ain't got shit to say about Jayden Daniels no more. All right. Cody McGee says the $4.99 super chat says the Mets and the Dodgers are better than the Yankees. I don't appreciate your super chat. Thank you for the money, but don't come in here and say that. Thoughts on Lincoln Riley still trying to get out of the LSU game. Yeah. You ruined that. You ruined that for me, Cody, when you talk trash about the Yankees. Completely. I'm not getting into it. All right. I've been waiting to get that off my chest for so long. Oh, man. I tell you. All right. Let's get to it. Everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share. Share to all those groups on Facebook. Share to all of those social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell, wherever you listen to podcasts. Rate, review, and subscribe. Let's talk about our good friends over at betonline.ag. Our good friend Tyler Alexander over at LPT Realty. Your good friends over at J&J Exterminating. What is going on with Baseball Portal? Where's Jay Johnson going? We'll talk about that next. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler, he'll shoot you straight.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. No, not mud bugs. Unwanted bugs like these. The ones you don't want crawling in your home or business. Trust the Shield from J&J Exterminating. We've been protecting Louisiana homes for over 50 years, earning the trust of our clients because we deliver what we promise. Protect your home from pests. Get the Shield from J&J Exterminating.
J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
We're back. Okay. The black dog is him. All right. I was wondering because that guy's coming out of the woodwork everywhere. He still comes whoever the black dog is on YouTube, always calling me crazy stuff. Cole Adams says Blake's a little cranky on this meat eater's diet. No, I'm not cranky. No, what but in all seriousness, I hate when let me just say this. There are people in this media corps, there are fans that quite honestly make doing this very difficult. And I don't mean this in the wrong way. You see me probably 10 hours a week, okay, which is 40 hours a month on 2 different shows. A lot of you think that you know me because I'm talking for an hour. You don't know me. You don't know my likes. If I say it, yes, but you don't know my likes. You don't know my interests. You don't know what I do throughout the day. So, coming after me, you don't fucking know me. So dumb. So when I saw Bullfrog in here, I wanted to make sure that was him because we were going to have a conversation. All right, let's get to it. Last night, we talked about a couple of guys that may be hitting the portal that maybe some people weren't expecting from the baseball side of things. Aiden Moffett today went entered the portal, which I do think shocked some fans. Try to warn you last night about it. That all being said, look, I do think the kid has a lot of traits. I think the kid has a lot of really good qualities with him. Guys, there's not a lot of people that throws a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, a 95-mile-an-hour two-seam, has a really good changeup. The problem is that Aiden, who redshirted as a freshman, just couldn't find the zone. Look, there's going to be some guys that move on, and it sucks to see a guy like that with that kind of talent hit the portal. But look, man, it is what it is in today's world. And if there's anybody, and look, Bugnam hit the portal, there are couple other guys hit the portal. It is what it is. I fully expect Jay, though, and what you already know this, guys, he's going to be out within the next week. There's going to be starting to be rumblings being made, official visits being made. He's going to be on plane rides, going to see guys. That is going to happen. What I would tell you is be calm, be patient. I know that there's already some guys that are entering the portal. The Louisville kid, Clean, I think is his name, not Kling, but Killen or Kylan, however you pronounce it, is at the portal. He destroyed the baseball at Louisville this past year. There will be a couple. I'm assuming there are going to be a couple more that Jay will go after too. And in all of that, be a little patient. A week, which is a long time to be patient. But there's going to be some other guys that hit the portal. Here's what I believe. Now, I'm going to do big picture, meaning what do I think that they need, and you know this. So it's not necessarily a conversation we maybe should have, but maybe that we kind of need to have. But you got to see who some guys are that are going to leave, some guys that might get drafted that you would hope would get back. But, man, you're going to have to go and get some bats. And if there is somebody who can go out there and get them, it will be Jay. You got to go get some bats and some big ones. Look, you got a massive hole at third, and you might have a massive hole at first that you're going to have to replicate. And I don't know how easy, if at all, that you can do that. I mean, guys, Tommy Tanks and Bear Jones, let's just round up for Tommy. He had 24, but Jones had almost 30. When you're talking about from two guys in the 2 and 3 hole that you're replacing that hit 50 bombs, that is a big gap to fill. Travinsky's leaving. He also had 17 home runs. That's a big hole to fill. Now, you can say, well, Blake, this team only plays to hit the home run. Well, guys, when you hit that many bombs, it's a big deal. When you're replacing 67 home runs and 3 guys in your lineup, that's a massive, massive deal. So I think that is the biggest area of need. Is the bullpen a big need too? Losing guys like Ackenhausen, Little, maybe you're losing Griffin Herring. Guys, Griffin Herring, if I'm not mistaken, now I was told this by a buddy of mine who is very connected with Major League Baseball, and he said that Griffin Herring was a draft-eligible sophomore. And if that's the case, guys, I don't know if Griffin Herring is coming back. So you do have a pair of really talented guys that are draft-eligible sophomores that were really, really good for you. So I do look in the situation where you do have a lot to replenish. Do you have a really good core and nucleus returning? Yes, you do. It doesn't stop the fact, though, that I truly believe that you're going to have to go get some power bats, and you're definitely going to have to go back in the portal and get some R's. I think a guy like Justin Lure returns. I think that there are arms in the bullpen that will return. Some freshman guys. I mean, you still have Cade Anderson. You're probably going to need a starting pitcher or two. And if the right guys get in there, you got to go get them, and they will enter. They will enter. But it's going to take a little bit of time here. I mean, it's going to take more than probably a month, maybe even more than that, for all of the guys that are going to enter the portal to be there. But you got to hit the corners, and if Bear Jones leaves, you're definitely going to have to hit the corners. You're probably – look, I got to say this. Now, LSU does have a really good high school recruiting class, and they got a lot of really good players in that recruiting class, a lot of really good outfielders as well. But if there is somebody that is in center field that can come and take that position, you got to. I don't know if Josh Pearson is returning. I would expect that he might return, right? I mean, guys, he's got another year. I don't think that he would get drafted high. Look, I got to be real with you. I think Jay loves him. Now, a lot of you get frustrated with him because through the season he hits 235. But, I mean, guys, when you have experienced guys and experienced bats, at some point they're going to break through. And I think that Pearson, for all that it's worth, I mean, they tried to move him to second base. It didn't work. They put him back in the outfield. I don't know if he returns, but I do think that you need a premier guy at the 8 spot. I think you need a premier guy in center field. Larson and Brown can take over other things if you need them to. And if Pearson does leave, I think that you got your edge guys. I think you got Brown, and you clearly have Ashton Larson that can take over that for you. And both of those guys, I think, are going to be really good for you. I think Ashton Larson is only scratching the surface of where he's going to be. Milam's only scratching the surface. But I think that that's the plan of attack. I think the first plan of attack is going and getting some power bats. I do think let's see what happens with Gage Jump. I mean, guys, he's projected a top 60 pick. I don't see him coming back. So is Luke Holman. I don't see him without a shadow of it. Like, I don't see either one of those guys coming back. You do have Cade Anderson. What happens with Schmidt from Catholic, William Schmidt from Catholic? I think he's gone. He's a projected top 12 pick. So there's a lot that you're going to have to replace here. I legitimately, though, have absolutely zero fear from Jay. Guys, here's what I would say. I think you missed. I think Jay missed some in the portal last year. I think mainly due to the fact that he was the last team standing last year and kind of had I don't want to say was slim pickings. I know Gage Jump wasn't slim pickings. Luke Holman wasn't slim pickings, but Mac Bingham didn't work out the way that you wanted it. I don't think Justin Lohr worked out the way that you wanted it. So with that being said, okay, if that is what Jay in a slim pickings type of situation, so you got 4 big-time recruits from the portal last year, you hit on 2 of them. You hit on 2. And that is the worst that Jay's going to do. Guys, I do believe this is the worst that we will see. And if this is the worst, like this year is the worst that we'll see under Jay, God bless Jesus. And I think everybody knows that. You got, even though I have all the faith in the world and I fully believe that Jay's going to get there and I know that he will, you still got to replenish a lot of things. You have a really good recruiting class. The top of your class isn't coming, right? Hold on one second. Let me pull this up. Because I just want to let's talk about some of the guys here, okay? Like you have Quentin Young, the shortstop, 6'5", 215, from California. He's coming in. Dean Moss is another guy from IMG. He's a center fielder. You have Brady Ebel, who's coming in from California as well. You got the William Patrick, the outfielder from Monroe that's coming in. Guys, the number one recruiting class that you have here, right? Like the number one class in the country that's coming in is absolutely filthy. Absolutely ridiculously filthy. Landon Hodge is a kid that's coming in, a catcher that a lot of people think is one of the best defensive catchers in high school ranks. You have what was the kid? Well, I'm trying to look for him. James Whitaker, the kid from Vegas, the right-handed pitcher, 6'3". I think he was up to like last year, perfect game, throwing 95. You have a lot of really good kids coming in here. A lot of them. Now, Quentin Young's going to be very interesting. Quentin Young is a kid who, look, could play third for you, could play shortstop, 6'5", 215, absolutely rakes baseballs, though. I don't know where he's going to go into the draft. So I think Quentin Young is somebody that you have to look at. Also, I'm looking for let me see here, because they did have a list. Yeah, there's Quentin Young right there. I'm trying to see where Quentin Young look, and Quentin might get drafted. Reagan Rican might get drafted because a lot of these dudes, I mean, we'll see, but Rican's a kid that 6'4", 220, throws about 93, 94 miles an hour, could play first, could play outfield, but some people have borderline with him too. So you're going to get some guys in here. Not every one of them is going to go to the draft. I would love for this Quentin kid to get here. I don't know if he will. I don't think Schmidt does. I don't think Connor Griffin does. But you never know, man. There's a chance. There's a chance. So all in all, okay, all in all, I think that you have another really good freshman class coming in. Still think that you're going to kill it in the portal. And I think you're going to be a lot better next year. So have patience. Be calm. It's going to work itself out, I promise you. Oh, by the way, I just saw this from David. He's right. Thatcher Hurd probably will come back. Let's see what happens with a guy like Thatcher Hurd. So we'll see. Anthony B. Saints with a $199 super chat says, Blake, what we going to do at catcher? I think that like a kid like Priester, right? Like Priester probably will get a really big look for you. Kid that really was here, left, came back. So, we'll see with Priester, but he's got a lot of experience. We'll see, man. We'll see. Omar Sema, the kid from Houston, Texas, 6'2", 225. He's also coming in. And who was the other catcher that we had here too? Landon Hodge. We'll see, man. We'll see. Briggs McKenzie from North Carolina. Damn, man, you lost North Carolina and you come right here and you steal them. Big time class here, though, man. Big time class. Look, man, they don't even have Connor Griffin listed as a. They don't have William Schmidt nor Griffin here or Connor Griffin in LSU's commits anymore. Mainly due to the fact that I think that they know that they're not coming. Sucks, man. Sucks. Wish those kids could come here. Banta says, did I miss anything about Brady Neil? No, and look, I think Neil was going to come back too, clearly. Let's see what happens with him. Do I think that he's better defensively than Priester? No, I do not. But I think Brady, man, here's the thing with Brady that I think needs to work out. Couple things. Number one, he's been injured a lot, so it's tough, and he doesn't get the at-bats like the other guys get, which I do think hurts him because he has not been great against P5 pitching. Or now, technically now that we're in regional play, the Pac-12 is no more, right? Guys, the Pac-12 is over with. So he does not hit P4 pitching well at all. And we talked about this last week, and a lot of people were pissed off at me. I'm like, well, do you start Neil over Travinsky? You know, like, I wouldn't do that. I had a lot of you on Twitter roasting me over that. And I'm like, there's just no way I would do it. Like, over him? No way. That just goes to show me a lot of you don't watch games throughout the season. I mean, Brady has really struggled against P4 pitching. Now, if he faces a team like Southeastern or Wofford or whoever, a G5 or mid-major program, he's going to demolish the baseball. You know, like I remember when we went to Houston and he went up against Rice and he hit that big home run. But then you go into the weekend and he doesn't do well. So, look, man, I think that he's got to work on being a little bit better and more consistent. I think that him trying to pull everything is a mistake, but that's me. I think he's got to find a way to. I think he's got to get a little bit more upright. He's got to be a little bit more upright. And I would tell him exactly what Tony Valls told Blake Burke at Tennessee last year. Hey, all you need to do with this offseason, focus on taking everything the opposite way. See everything deep into the zone. Take everything the other way. Brady Neil's got just rare power for a dude his size, right? Like, you know that the dude can really hit. He's got fast enough hands that he can get to the baseball, but he's trying to kill and pull everything. He's got to see the ball deep. Really and truthfully, guys, it's a lot like Balazzo. If we're being truthful. So we'll see. I don't know if he transfers out. I mean, Jay really loves Brady Neil, man. Like, every media availability that we have with Jay's just like, man, he talks about how glowing. He talks about him in a glowing light. We'll see. You know what's interesting too, man? Who's going to be those super guys, the super seniors, the guys that are seniors that come back and step up? You know, like I would advise, here's the truth though, man. I would highly advise Michael Braswell to come back. 100%. I think if Michael Braswell comes back next year, hits leadoff, he's going to be a force. 100%. So we'll see. All right. We're 43 minutes into the show, and we got to talk some football. So let's do that. Let me take a quick break. We got some football we need to discuss. We'll go around your SEC and then field your questions here at the end. So let me pay some bills around here. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. Guys, football is – I know y'all – I mean, you're probably still in the baseball spirit. I get that you're probably still in the baseball spirit. I feel you. With that all being said, though, let's talk a little bit about football. We'll do that next. Stay with us. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates? Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with a great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements.
By the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com. Whether you've been injured in an accident, you're preparing for a future with your estate planning, you're getting ready to close in on a real estate deal, or you're about to welcome a new addition through adoption into your family, or you're facing criminal charges, you need very experienced attorneys, and that is what the Drake Williams Law Firm will be able to do for you in navigating the legal system. The door to their cozy office in historic downtown Ponchatoula has been open since 1981. They have helped thousands and thousands of Louisiana families and individuals win cases, close on real estate deals, and regain that peace of mind. Their lawyers over at the Drake Williams Law Firm, Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, are very determined, compassionate, and dedicated to their craft. It's the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. Tell them your good friend Blake Ruffino at AYS sent you on by.
J&J has protected Louisiana homes and businesses for over 60 years.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
Really interesting question from the fake Bullfrog here, but Bullfrog says, Blake, do you think that LSU should go after Simeon Barrow again? Do I think that they should? Yes. Do I think that they should have mended fences there? Yes, I do. It says, seems like he would change the current state from solid to elite. I don't know about elite. Let's not use that word elite. Do I think that he would make your room 10 times better? Let me not say 10 times better. Do I think he'd make your room vastly better? Yes. Do I think he's experienced? Yes. Yeah. I do think that they needed to go after him. There's a reason you got him to sign financial aid paperwork. I still don't know what's going on with the kid. Guys, let me tell you something. In this NIL world, like this kid, I think, goes to Miami. I don't know if he got paid. I don't know what happened there. But what I do know is that now you can definitely get him for cheap. So I guess they feel like the bridge is burned there. I have no idea. But this is what I hate about these kinds of things. Can the kid play? Yes. Did the kid play in a big-time Power 5 conference? Yes. Did the kid have success in a big-time Power 5 conference? Yes. Did he have success against Ohio State, Michigan, teams to that sort? Yes and yes. Would he come here and be a day one starter? Yes. Does he make me feel better about your defense and as just a whole? Yes. Do I think it's petty that you don't go back after him? Yes. Guys, 100%. And I'm not going to pull the punch on that. Guys, listen to me. You can think that I am whatever you want to think. You can think I'm a piece of shit. You can think that, Blake's just bullshitting all the time. You can think whatever you want. It doesn't change the conversations that I have with people on that staff daily, the connections that we have, and everybody that we talk to. I will tell you what I tell them. Do I think you need to go back after a guy like him? 100%. Guys, it is about winning. Oh, well, we want to make sure our locker room's good. What's he going to do to your locker room? What's he going to do to your locker room? He's not the reason your locker room would have been messed up in the first place. Legitimately. I have another question. What's up with Jacobe Matthews? I mean, I know what's going on with Jacobe Matthews. I'm kind of just floating that out there. What's going on with Jacobe Matthews? Why isn't anybody taking him? Can he get in anywhere? I don't know. I know that his camp's been chirping around Ponchatoula the last 2 weeks. That's what I know. Boy, oh boy, how things can come crumbling down when you are not aware of your situation. Paul Ferrer, good friends over at J&J Exterminating, says, what's up with this story about Lincoln Riley trying to dodge LSU game chicken shit or something more? I think what happened was, here's what I fully believe happened. I think that Fox went to USC's AD saying, hey, man, can y'all get out of this game? Because we don't want y'all to be on ESPN first time when you're in the Big Ten. I fully believe that happened. I 100% believe that happened. But Fox wanting them to be on Fox when they are officially in the Big Ten. And I think that the AD at USC told Lincoln Riley, it's like, man, they want us out. They don't want us playing LSU. And then Lincoln says, well, we have the same agent. Let me ask Trace Armstrong. So he goes to Chase Armstrong. He asks, and Brian Kelly said, go fuck yourself. It's 100% what I think happened. Now, the problem with that is, and why Lincoln should have stayed out of it all, is because the last time he pulled something like this about getting away from anybody in the SEC, and even with it being tied with LSU, was the specific nature of that Oklahoma people were reporting that he was mad that he didn't want to go to the SEC. Now, bitter ex-girlfriends can say a lot of crazy stuff, and they normally do, right? Like your bitter ex-girlfriend can say some wild things, right? I don't know how much I believe that. What I really believe about Lincoln Riley is that he got offered $10.5 million a year to go to USC. He has a free private plane that USC has to pay the fuel for. They have to keep up with the plane. He can go wherever he wants. And it's in LA, even though it seems like, my coach Joe says it's a shithole. I don't know. I mean, the lifestyle probably is a little bit better in his opinion. So, yeah. Todd, talking about Jacobe Matthews, he 100% was aware of the rule. What I think is, like, why didn't Oregon take him? Why hasn't anybody taken him outside of the SEC? Sometimes, man, things aren't always as they seem. All right, let me get to some football stuff here before we get out of here. We got a little while, but just to talk some football, because the truth is, man, over the last 2 weeks, we've had a lot of guests on the show, and me and you have not been able to sit down and talk, because we had Carter on last night. We had Jack Dillenshamps on a couple of the nights before. We did the post games. We haven't had a lot of time to talk, just you and I, about football. Last week, we did talk about USC. And I am not going to break down our G5 opponents that we play, but I do think it's interesting that you do play them and UCLA, which we'll get to next week. Tonight we go to another USC, though, and this one is on the East Coast, not the West Coast, in South Carolina. Look, I will tell you this. When I look at South Carolina and I look at them as a team, I don't think that they're very good. I think that Shane Beamer has had issues there and will continue to have issues there. I love LOVE. And look, for my bottom dollar, having that game at 11 a.m. kills my postgame shows. Kills them. 11 a.m. games that we do postgame shows right after kills my pocketbook. It kills everybody's pocketbook that does one. Because when it's at night and everybody's at home and they don't have kids and things that they're doing throughout the day, night games are clearly the best. And people are drunk and want to get pissed off or cheer or whatever, what have you. So I say all that to say, for LSU's sake, I love that game in South Carolina is at 11 a.m., 12 p.m. Central Standard Time in South Carolina. There is one thing that really worries me about going there early in the season. Guys, that place can get very loud. And I know that Garrett Nussmeier started and has experience on the road. It's kind of wild that the last couple times that we've really seen Garrett Nussmeier on the road at Alabama, which I think that experience helps him tremendously. On the road in the SEC championship game, coming in the second half, I think that helps him immensely. I think being away from home in a bowl game in his first start is going to immensely help him. That place is different, man. That place can be different. And I think that they are, as a fan base, yearning for a good football program. The thing that worries me the most, other than playing there, is simple for me. They have a quarterback, Sellers, the guy with the goggles, you may remember him, who is a big-time dual-threat quarterback. And what worries me about him is last year I thought as a defense we played very undisciplined. I do think that there were times that Matt House called good enough defenses to help keep contained. Now, not against Jalen Milroe, but that you were unable to grasp the defense and be able to make a stop. Guys, I got to be real with you. The last time we faced a quarterback that could run a little bit and was limited at throwing the football was against Alabama. Now, you have a new defensive coordinator. I don't think Blake Baker is going to sit on his heels. I don't think that he was just going to sit here and wait and be passive and not spy and not send Perkins. I don't believe any of that. What I do worry about, though, is that I know that there have been times that regardless of what Matt House called, you played undisciplined. I worry about your corners the first time on the road. Guys, there's a strong likelihood, a very strong likelihood, that you're going to see a lot of true freshmen by the third game into the season that not only do I think that they're going to start, or one of them going to start, I think they're going to, at worst, get a lot of rotation, and they're going to get a lot of momentum and reps in those games. 1,000% is going to happen because that was happening during the spring. And there's no seniors really coming back that would test that. Now, what does J.K. Johnson do? You know, he got limited with a hamstring in camp. Do we see him? You know, what do you do with Sage Ryan? All these questions I don't know about. But here's what I do know. I know the last time that we saw this defense against our offense, which, look, is nothing to sneeze about. This offense that LSU has is going to be very good. Guys, they were blowing coverages against a team that they had a month to prepare for. They blew a coverage against Xavion Thomas. They let Kyron Lacey go wild. Those things do scare me. And look, an athletic quarterback is always going to scare me. Do I think that they have the talent outside of him to beat you? No, I do not. I do not. I think, and we'll talk about this when we talk about around your SEC. Okay. I think when it comes to LSU, you have a very favorable schedule, considering what other teams in your conference has to play. Guys, have you seen what Florida's got coming to them? Do you see what Mississippi State's got coming to them? Do you see what Texas has got coming to them? Do you see what Kentucky's got to go through? Do you see what Alabama's got to go through? All of these teams are facing a lot. Do you see what Tennessee's got to go through? Like, a lot of these teams are playing really good opponents. And I think that of a lot of teams, you got favorable matchups. I think, personally, Georgia is another one, which we'll get to all this in just a minute. I'm telling you, man, and I know that it's June the 5th. I get all of this, and I know a lot of you will disagree. I get that it's June the 5th. I don't give two Rudy Poos. I could give two Rudy Poos. That kid Sellers can play. He can throw a little bit. Kid can run. And if you are not disciplined, he can beat you. He can beat you. You could be in a dogfight in week 3, of your season in Columbia, South Carolina. That 1,000% can happen. Now, defensively, what do they have coming back? Not a lot. I don't think their secondary is very good. I think offensively, you're going to be able to do some really good things. I think that, their fan base has been calling for their DC's head for quite some time. They can't stop the running game. It's going to be one of the weaker defensive lines, in my opinion, that you will see. I know that they got a lot of really good players that had just scratched the surface. Maybe they take that next step. But against this offensive line, I don't think it is going to be a very fun day for them. I'll say it like that. Here's what I will say. The running game for South Carolina is going to be very big, and they're going to lean on it. And I think that is your biggest weakness. Very, very, it is 100% your biggest weakness, is defending the run. Now, South Carolina, this year in the portal, pulled one of the sneakiest, best portal moves that no one really talked about outside of South Carolina. We mentioned it for like a day, and then other than that, it went by the wayside. Rocket Sanders, who was at Arkansas, is now at South Carolina. And you're adding Lenore Sellers, a dual threat guy, into this mix. Now, they did go get Jared Brown, the wide receiver. They went and got Huggins Bruce, the receiver. A lot of experience there. Nicholas Harbor, the outright freak that you were in line for as well, is also going to be there. And guys, by the way, all of those offensive linemen that they started last year, all those true freshmen are now sophomores. Kason Henry, Travian Bowe, Ja'Kai Moore, all those true freshmen that they started last year are clearly back and have experience. I think personally that they're not going to be able to stop you defensively. I really do question if their running game really is going to worry me. And you could say, well, Blake, their offensive line was hideous last year. Yeah, true. Not everybody is Emory Jones. Not everybody is Will Campbell. Starting true freshman offensive line in the SEC does not always bode well for teams. And there are guys that are not as talented as them. Well, they went and got a grad transfer. They went and got a senior center and replenished some things along their offensive line. Do I think you win? Yes, I do. Am I nervous about you stopping the run? You're damn right I am. So, well, I'm sure we'll talk about that during the entire week, okay, with them. Don't mess around with them. By the way, just so I'm clear here, this is what they went and got in the portal. Stay with me for just a minute. They got legitimately 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. They got 15 seniors or super seniors. Stay with me for just a moment. What have we seen in baseball, basketball, and in football? You should know, LSU fans, because 2 years ago when you went and got 4 dudes in your secondary that were all seniors, your secondary actually wasn't that bad when you had Jared Bernard Converse, Mekhi Gardner, Greg Brooks, Joe Fouché. You remember that, right? Those dudes weren't bad. Oh, by the way, Jay Ward was also a senior. They went and got a whole bunch of senior offensive linemen. They went and got a whole bunch of seniors on the defensive side at the defensive line. Experience matters in this league, man. Don't look at South Carolina and say to yourself that they're that good. That they're bad. So I'm talking about South Carolina, Dane. Last week, just so we're clear, maybe I should have said this in the open. Last week, we talked about USC. Tonight, we're talking about South Carolina. Next week, we'll talk about UCLA. If you've noticed, the weeks that lead up to it, it's like I prep for this. The weeks that I lead up to this, okay, every single week we'll talk about, and some weeks we'll have 2 opponents that we talk about on LSU schedule, P5 opponents. But every week that we'll talk about a team that LSU plays this year lines up for the first game. So, yeah. All right. One other thing. Let me go around your SEC very quickly. I mentioned this earlier. I want to bring this up. ESPN's FPI. Now, let me stop. The power index that ESPN has historically when it comes to win and losses is very unfavorable or very favorable. When it comes to the ranking system, they are horrendous because it's about point spread. But ESPN's FPI, which is just the power index, just a ranking system, okay, when they rank teams, it's really bad. Like rank teams in order because we see teams play on the field, we know. Their strength of schedule and percentage of what teams should win is actually very consistent. Today, ESPN released their top 10 toughest schedules in college football in 2024. Now, the team at number 1 is not going to surprise you. At number 1, it was the University of Florida. Number 2 was Mississippi State. That sucks for Jeff Lebby in year 1. Number 3, the Georgia Bulldogs, and I fully agree with that. Number 4, Kentucky. Number 5, Auburn, I agree. Number 6, Alabama. Number 7, Oklahoma. Number 8, Tennessee. Number 9, Georgia Tech, because they got to play Georgia too. And number 10, Texas. Now, we're talking about this on an LSU show, and what I would say is, look, your schedule is very favorable. I believe, considering this and considering a lot of these teams that are in your conference, guys, these teams play tougher. I fully believe and agree with ESPN's FPI here that all of these teams play tougher schedules than you do. Florida, Mississippi State, Georgia, Kentucky, Auburn, Alabama, Oklahoma, Tennessee. Those are your top 8. Guys, the SEC is going to be loaded. I fully believe that. And with that, okay, the only team that is not in the SEC in the ESPN top 10 of toughest schedules preseason is Georgia Tech, a team that's got to play Georgia. What I would tell you is I think that there's going to be a carnage in the SEC this year, an outright carnage. I think that you're going to see a lot of 10-2 teams or 9-3 teams, a lot like you did last year. Think about it like this. The 4th, 5th, 6th best teams last year were Ole Miss, Missouri, and LSU. And I will be real with you. I think LSU beats any 5th team in any other conference by more than double digits a year ago. I think they beat Penn State. Clearly, Ole Miss did. I think that they beat, who would be the Pac-12 equivalent? I think they beat Arizona. In the ACC, I think they curb stomped NC State. That is the 5th best team in their conference. Guys, I think Kentucky's going to be a lot better. I think Georgia's going to, if I had to pick today, I think that they're in the national championship game. I think Mississippi State, it sucks for them. And Florida, that's at 1-2. Guys, Tennessee's got a tough schedule, and they're going to play. Look, they're not bad either. So when people say, too, by the way, that the SEC doesn't play tough opponents, like I had somebody in the Big Ten, an Ohio State fan, of course it was, saying the Big Ten is a harder schedule than the SEC. No, it's not. Now, you know what's interesting? Oklahoma has got to play Alabama and Texas and LSU. Florida's got to face 5 top 10 teams in a row. It's insane, man. It's insane. And Cole Adams says Missouri beat Ohio State last year. Yeah, they did. And what Ohio State fans will tell you is that, our backup quarterback started the game and he got hurt. I think that that's fair. But they still won. That's insane. That Florida schedule is brutal. And look, man, if Florida, let me say it like this. If Florida finds a way next year to go 7-5, Billy Napier's going to keep his job because that's a hell of a stretch to go down. That's going to mean that they upset some teams they're not supposed to. I kind of hope it's Texas. But I will say this too. The team that doesn't know about this, I think more than anybody, now Sark knows it, but I don't think Texas fans fully understand what they're about to go through. So when I look, at Texas's schedule, what? I'm sorry, what? It's mine. Okay, just put it on the table. That kid. When I look at Texas, Texas has a brutal schedule. Now, they go to Michigan on September the 7th. Look, I think they're going to beat Michigan. I think that Michigan's going to be so depleted. But there's a stretch here where I think that they're going to slip up against one of these teams. Stay with me here. Obviously, after the Cotton Bowl and they face Oklahoma in October, they have Georgia. They go to Vandy. They're clearly going to be Vandy. They got Florida, Arkansas, and Kentucky. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to predict this here tonight. I think Texas is losing to one of the 3. Florida, Texas, or Kentucky. Florida, Arkansas, or Kentucky. I think that's going to happen. Oh, and by the way, at the end of the year, they go to Texas A&M. Not necessarily easy. That Georgia game, man, that stretch from October 19th to, I guess even November 30th outside of Vandy is not going to be easy for them. Wouldn't it be crazy if they went to Arkansas and got beat? Crazier things have happened. Jamal, let's get to a couple things before we get out of here. Jamal says, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying Arkansas is a playoff team, but I would advise everybody who plays them does not play games. Look, they did lose Rocket Sanders. They lost a lot, man. I don't know. But I know that Arkansas game's a rivalry, and we'll see. Kentucky's going to be a lot better, too. Brandon Reese says Napier better not lose to Kentucky again this year. I think his goal's just got to be 7 wins. Goal's got to be 7 wins. If he gets there, he'll be. I think he'll keep his job. John Sibley Butler says Texas is SEC ready and should play LSU in the championship game. Are they SEC ready in reference to? Are they SEC ready in reference to talent? Yes, but man, they also like struggle against Houston. Quinn Ewers can't go a full year with staying healthy. What is Arch Manning going to do if he got to come in? So, yeah, we'll see. All right, man. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a good one. We might go a little bit earlier tomorrow. We'll see. Till then, y'all have a good one.